Okay, hi class. So welcome to week three. This we are a third of the way done with our 6 week class, which is really amazing. And you have probably finished essay, or you're very close to finishing essay two, which is halfway through the essays um, that we'll be doing. We have 4 essays in this class, so you guys are doing great. Keep up the good work. So this week is building on what we've done, um, and it's an issue that's come up a lot in our discussions already, and that's gender. Um, and so this presentation is going to talk first about logistics about this week. There's a lot of practical things to pay attention to, and then about the theme and a few of the sort of unusual or new concepts that I'm asking you to use in your essay this week. All right. And what you'll see is that you actually know how to do these things already, even if you didn't realize what you were doing. So, first thing to say is just that the lessons this week are a little different because they're not so much focused on big ideas like structure and thesis and stuff like that, though you still need to use all of those concepts, of course. These lessons are on grammar, some grammar basics that I think are important for you. You might be very familiar with it, but it's always helpful to review these things because I think we can always, even if you think you know the rules, there's always lots of different things to try, and I'd like you to explore and try out different styles, and that's part of why I'm showing you this. There's also a page on transitions that I'd like you to try to incorporate into your essay 3 and essay 4, and then there'll be a quiz on that, okay, as usual. The other thing, well, let me do this one first, just to say that we have a timed essay this week. So this means that on Thursday or Friday, you will need to take 2 hours, and you are going to be writing that essay in a 2 hour period. And what you'll see in the module is that you will get the prompt ahead of time. The prompt is available to you to look at right now, but there's one piece of the prompt which is that you'll be studying a certain image, and that image won't be available until you go into the timed essay. So you can prepare by doing the reading. Everything you do this week will help you prepare for it, and there'll be more information on what to do to prepare. And then once you're prepared, you start the essay, and you've got 2 hours, and you'll have to go. Okay. And there's a discussion forum this week for you guys to share strategies about how to do that, because I know timed writing is very stressful for many people, as it is for me. I've always found timed writing really hard. It's important. It's a part of this class because you will encounter timed writing in many other classes, including non-English classes, where you'll have to write essay questions on an exam, for example. Also, sometimes in application processes for universities that can happen. In job situations, you have pressure writing. It requires different kinds of skills, and this class is a good place to practice. Also, another important element is that this is going to be proctored. That means it's sort of monitored, except it's not proctored by a human being, it's proctored by a computer. And there's a special extension that you need to use, and you have to use Chrome, the Chrome browser on a desktop computer. And you can install this extension. Now, if you need to find a computer lab to do this in because of that, you'll need to start to arrange that now. Um, you, I believe you can install the extension even if you don't have administrator rights, but in any case, you're going to want to get set up with this extension as soon as possible. And there's the instructions to do that are, in fact, why don't I just show you right now. If you go in here, up on the left-hand side, you'll see this link that says Secure Exam Proctor. And if you click on that, you can see I'm in Safari right now. It'll tell me, first of all, to install Google Chrome, and I can just click that link. And then once I open this page in Chrome, I have to install the extension. And then once I've got that, I'm ready to go. But really, you want to do this as soon as possible to make sure you're all set for the exam or the timed essay. All right. So that's all I have about the practical concerns for this week. And now some thoughts about what we're about to talk about. So I'm gonna show you an image right now. Okay. So this is called La Grande Odalisque. This is a famous painting. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. Maybe you have, but even if you haven't, um, just notice how you react to it. Just kind of look at it, take it all in. Okay. Now I'm going to show you another image. Okay. So this is kind of funny, right? Um, why is this funny? That's what I want you to think about. Why is your reaction to this different to your reaction to this? What is funny about this? And what is maybe more traditional and more expected and probably not very funny about this? Why is your reaction different? I'll let you think about that. But what I want you to notice is that images and gender are very linked together. And in our culture, we have a lot of images of gender shown to us all the time. Males and females are presented very differently in the media, as we all know, of course. And I think part of the reason this one is funny is that we're really not used to seeing a man in this kind of a position. Also, a naked male body is less commonly portrayed than a naked female body, which we see. This is up in museums, and you know, there's a classic long tradition of this, whereas this is a little more taboo. Also, he's wearing pink gloves. He's got lipstick on. He's in. There's a lot of sort of traditionally feminine things about the way this man is presented to us. Um, so I want you to kind of notice these differences here. And what we're what I'm asking you to do this week is called visual rhetoric. And visual rhetoric is something you've been doing actually from the very first day of the class when I asked you to look at that clip from the Donna Reed show. Visual rhetoric is simply thinking about what is an image trying to say and how does it say it. And that involves things like shapes, colors, composition, emphasis. You got symbols, other references, what is represented, how is it presented, and what is it trying to say. And so we could look at this image and say, what is this image trying to say to us? And you might not know the answer to that right now, but by looking at the image carefully, we might be able to figure it out. Okay, and we'll be doing that this week with advertising, which is a very carefully thought out kind of image that a lot of money goes into, and which is designed to have some effect on you. So they're really interesting subjects for analysis because of that. And your essay will ask you to examine a advertising image. Another thing the essay will ask you to do is another thing that you've been doing already, which is called applying a reading as a lens. And you did that in essay 2, where I asked you to use one of the frames from the Kendall article in order to examine your TV show. You use the ideas of Kendall to understand the TV show or the movie that you were examining. So that's called applying a reading as a lens. And here's a kind of silly image to show this. You're up in the left hand corner. You've got whatever image um, your or object that you're trying to understand in the bottom right corner, that painting, or you could replace that with an advertising image or with your TV show or your film. And you're trying to understand that image. You're trying to remember visual rhetoric. You're trying to think about what is the image trying to say. And in order to do that, you're using the article as a lens. It's like a pair of glasses that you put on. It gives you tools to understand the image. So your job this week before you do the timed essay is to understand the article as well as you possibly can. And you've got two different articles this week. Um, so the first one is called Two Ways a Woman Can Get Hurt, Advertising and Violence. And you'll see that this has lots of images in it, this article. And it will talk all about these images. So it'll be very much in the realm of visual rhetoric. And it's going to give you lots of tools to understand other images as well. And these images are always about gender and women in particular. In the case of this article, women's bodies and how they're presented in advertisements. So that's one article. And the other article is called Bros Before Hoes, the Guy Code. And this article, you'll see, has one image in it, but that's more of a kind of illustration. It doesn't have a lot of imagery in it. It mostly has text. But in this case, it's not talking about images so much, but about values that are thought of as masculine values. And your job there would be to take those values and apply them to an image. So either way, it would be quite, your task ultimately would be the same. The article will help you in different kinds of ways. But in both cases, they'll make great lenses to use for the essay. Either one is possible. You're going to want to pick one, probably. You could prepare both if you want to. But I would pick one that works best for you, and then your object, this one, if you use this one, you'll write about the representation of men in advertising. And if you use the other one, you'll write about the representation of women in advertising. So that's about the essay. I realized as I picked up that book, there's one other thing I wanted to say at the start of this, which is about your pocket style manual. So you've seen me maybe in your feedback on essay 1 reference this style manual. And it's not a textbook in the strict sense that I'm never going to ask you to sit down and read chapters from it, but I will ask you to reference it a few times. It's got so much useful stuff for you. And especially in my feedback, I'll often tell you to look at something particular in here. But I would encourage you to flip through it, and as you start to learn the areas where you need help with grammar, find the sections in here to help you figure that out. So that's just a word about the purpose of this, and in particular with the grammar lessons this week, have this on hand. It will be really handy. All right, so that's my introduction for the week. I'm really excited to see the discussion this week. This is a really fun assignment. I think you guys will have fun with it. I know the timed essay thing is challenging, but what's nice is you'll have your work done before the weekend even rolls around for a change. So that will be really nice. Okay, well, good luck this week, and let me know if there are any questions.